You know, life is actually very simple because it's a one-move win. Imagine no matter what scenario you're in, you only had to do one thing. Imagine boxing, and no matter what attack he threw at you, no matter how big and strong he was, no matter how tired you were, you didn't have to do any fancy combination. You didn't have to do any kind of clever footwork. You only had to do one move, and you instantly and endlessly, 100% of the time, won. And life is the same. And that thing is get rich. You know, whenever I see an argument online about anything, my instant response is, thank God I'm rich. And if I am emotionally vested in that argument, if I am looking at that argument and believe the outcome genuinely matters and can affect my life, I'm only more motivated to get rich. If I look at an argument and say, I really care about this, time to get rich. Why? Well, there's two reasons. Reason one is that wealth gives you power and allows you to move the needle. Because most of you are not rich enough to move the needle in any significant way. And two, wealth also gives you the ability to build your own reality. If you decided you wanted to live life amongst people with yellow hair only or blue hair only, you have two choices. You can rage post on Twitter and try and inspire a politician to pass a law that only allows blue-haired people to live around you, even though it would not be in his own personal interest, which is basically impossible. Or you can get rich enough to just only exist and only be around blue-haired people. Which of those two things is a more clever use of your time and energy? Because this is the work trap we find ourselves falling into ever since Trump's victory. You believe Trump is coming to save you. You believe that the government is going to save you. You believe everything's going to be okay. You believe that rage posting on Twitter is somehow work and you're somehow affecting things, when truthfully, you are wasting your time. Focusing all that energy on getting as rich as possible is more likely to change your experience than rage posting. And you know this. But what you're trying to do is satisfy the part of your soul which is telling you you have to work and you have to resist enslavement. The easiest place to see this is with Bitcoin. Everyone loves Bitcoin. Everybody believes in Bitcoin. Federal Reserve, they print too much money. Bitcoin's going to the moon. I get it. But why are you watching videos about Bitcoin and researching Bitcoin instead of earning money to buy more Bitcoin? It's binary. You either believe in Bitcoin or you don't. And if you do believe in Bitcoin, the most prudent and intelligent spend of your time is to work as hard as possible to acquire as much as possible before the price becomes prohibitive. To sit there with 0.3 Bitcoin, to believe that Bitcoin's going to go up, and then to watch Bitcoin videos and watch Hopium and research how the blockchain works with no intention of actually programming the blockchain in any way is a mistake. And it is a trick and a trap you are falling for, because you believe by doing that, you are somehow working towards the end goal. And you're not. You're attracted to Bitcoin because you can buy and forget. The reason Bitcoin's so attractive to people isn't because of the Federal Reserve. Nobody gives a shit about the Fed and inflation if they were rich. You wouldn't be upset by the Fed, inflation, interest rates, fiat currency. None of those things would bother you at all if you were as rich as me. I don't give a shit because I'm rich. You give a shit because you're not. So you're sitting there researching Bitcoin and you think that you're interested in Bitcoin because you are furious at the Federal Reserve. That's all bullshit. You love Bitcoin because it's offering you the lazy man's dream. Buy some of me and do nothing. It is the dream of every person alive to park some money, ignore it, and with no work have more money, because that's nearly impossible to do. If you want to start a rental property portfolio, you have to work. There's taxes, there's legal, there's cleaning, there's maintenance, there's finding tenants, there's work. Bitcoin is very lazy. So you buy it, you do nothing, and you're told you're going to be a millionaire one day. That satisfies part of your heart. That's a perfect scenario. But then you have this time on your hands. And you're sitting there thinking, well, Bitcoin's going to make me a millionaire, and I want it to happen now. So what do? What you start doing is reading about Bitcoin, tweeting about Bitcoin, posting about Bitcoin, watching all the hopium, looking up random YouTubers for their Bitcoin predictions, listening to Michael Saylor. All of these things you are doing because you are trying to expedite. You're trying to speed up the pace at which Bitcoin saves you from your miserable life. But it is a mistake because doing all of that doesn't change anything. I know you could argue that the collective energy of enough people understanding Bitcoin and tweeting about it moves the needle. That is true. But if I were to say to you, spend the next 100 hours reading and watching Bitcoin videos, or the next 100 hours working, earning money, and buying Bitcoin, which one do you think would put you in a position where you could retire sooner? It would be from working and purchasing, but you're trying to avoid the work. This is so important, guys, that you find yourself in these political arguments, you find yourself watching Bitcoin videos, you find yourself locking in to do absolutely unproductive things, because the only thing that's productive in all scenarios is earning money. So when I see this argument on Twitter about H1B1, I sit there and think, thank God I'm rich. It's very easy to live in America and only see white people if you're rich. It's also very easy to live in America and only see black people if you're rich. You can do whatever you want if you're rich. If you're not, you're in a far more difficult position. And the great thing about this mindset is most people don't have it. It is important that people tweet about Bitcoin. It is important that people complain about certain things online and make it clear that they're unhappy with how their politicians plan to run the country. But if you bow down and you get rich, the rest will do it for you. It's fine. Let them do the heavy lifting. Let them sit there and rage post and get mad and lose sleep and watch videos and do all that crap while you stack cash. And I guarantee you, that's how you're going to win. And I only care how my fans win. So after I decided Bitcoin was a thing, I've never watched a video on it again. I've decided Bitcoin's going to the moon. That's my decision. I now have no interest in Bitcoin podcasts. I have no interest in Bitcoin predictions. I have no interest. I spend my time making money to buy Bitcoin or something else. Once Trump won, now everyone's sitting there asking Trump to fix their problems, their very specific problems. And the Rebel Alliance, the right, was a band of individualists which all had very different views and hopes. So they're not going to fix all your problems. Nobody is coming to save you. Nothing's going to be better in 2025. Get rid of this. Bitcoin's going to $1 trillion. My 0.1 Bitcoin is enough because I found a podcast that says that. I watch more and more podcasts that say 0.1 Bitcoin will be enough because I don't have more than 0.1 Bitcoin. And Trump and Elon are going to save me and everything's fine. Let me just rage post on Twitter and wait for Bitcoin to go up. That is a mistake. If those podcasts saying 0.1 Bitcoin is enough are accurate, if they are, which is debatable, because I don't think they are, then you should still be trying to earn more so you have 0.2 Bitcoin as opposed to watching those podcasts for hopium. I ask a lot of people what they're doing. They say, locking in, bro. And their version of locking in is just dumb shit. Watching podcasts for hope, rage posting on Twitter for hope. It is best for you to assume that you're fucked. It's best for you to assume that Trump and Elon are not going to do any of the things you want them to do, no matter how much you tweet at them. It is best for you to assume that Bitcoin is still going to be around the same price 10 years from now. It is best for you to assume that the prices will continue to spiral out of control. that the crime and the drugs will continue to spiral out of control. That is the best mental model for you to have. Because in that scenario, under that mental model, I can say to you, what the fuck are you going to do about it? And the only answer is work. Hope can destroy you. You're at the bottom of a well, and to save your manicure, you're praying someone's going to throw a rope down or a ladder because you don't want to scale the slimy walls and crawl out to salvation because of how difficult it's going to be. And you're sitting at the bottom thinking, a ladder's coming soon. I heard this rumor of this guy who has a ladder and he randomly puts it down wells. And maybe he'll choose my one. So if I just sit around and wait, that is the wrong mentality. It will soon be nightfall. You will freeze. It will begin to rain and you will drown. You don't have time. If the man with the ladder is coming, then you're good anyway. If Trump and Elon fix the country, you're good. If Bitcoin goes to 10 million and your 0.1 finally becomes worth something, you're good. If the ladder comes down the well when you're halfway up the wall, you're great. But you should begin to climb anyway. It is win-win. The only thing stopping you is the trap of believing you're doing something by praying for the ladder man and laziness.